Last night, while you slept, something spoke to you. It speaks to you almost every night, and it has been speaking to you your entire life. And the modern world has trained you with great success to wake up every morning and throw its letters away unopened. I am talking about your dreams. And before you decide what kind of video this is, hear how seriously the people I come from took what I am about to teach you. In the old way, a dream was never nothing. The elders asked about dreams the way doctors ask about symptoms. The camp shared them at morning fires. The big ones were brought to the old ones for counsel, the way you would bring a serious letter to someone who could read. And a people who survived 1,000 generations on this land did not organize their mornings around nonsense. Hear that plainly. They did it because they knew what the modern world has forgotten, that the dream is the 1 hour when the deepest part of you can finally speak without interruption. All day long the soul waits. I have taught you this in other ways, the noise, the busyness, the defenses. All day the deep self cannot get a word through the crowd of your waking mind. But at night the crowd goes home, the guards sleep, and the deep self, patient, faithful, picks up its pen and writes you what it could not say all day, in the only language it has, the old language, pictures, places, people, water and houses and roads, and sends it. And you wake, and the letter is in your hands for 30 seconds, 40. You feel it dissolving even as you reach for it, and the modern world says, just a dream, and you let it go and reach for the phone, and the letter burns unread. Tonight, I am going to teach you to read the letters, the 4 kinds that matter most, what each one is trying to tell you, and why I put the words before it's too late in the title of this teaching. Because I meant them, my friend, not as a trick, but as a truth. And by the end, you will understand exactly what runs out, and what the old ones knew about the strange urgency of the dreams that come in the later seasons of a life. Understand first why the night is when the deep self speaks. Because once you see the mechanics, you will never again say, just a dream. I have taught you about the thin hours, the between states, the moments when the wall of the day's noise comes down and things can finally get through. Sleep is the deepest between state there is. In sleep, the arguing mind is off duty, the defending mind, the explaining mind, the mind that keeps you too busy to feel, all of it stands down, and everything that waited all day, all year, some of it all your life, finally gets the floor. That is why the dream does not speak in words. Hear this. Words belong to the day mind, the negotiator, the explainer. The deep self is older than words. It thinks in the first language, the language of image and feeling, the language every human child dreams in before they can speak, and so it sends pictures. The house that means yourself, the water that means the feelings, the road, the falling, the being lost, the teeth, the flying, the same pictures. Mark this, the same pictures in every country on this earth, in every century, because the first language is universal. It came with us from the beginning. And this is why the dreams that matter feel the way they feel. Heavier than the night's ordinary housekeeping, more real than real. Soaked in a feeling that follows you into the morning coffee and sometimes into the whole week. That weight is not an accident, my friend. That weight is the deep self's way of marking the envelope urgent. The ordinary dreams, the day's leftovers, the television reshuffled, those dissolve and should. But the marked ones, the heavy ones, the ones you carry into morning, those were composed and sent and meant, and you have received hundreds of them across your life. And if you are like most modern people, you have opened almost none. And the sender, hear this and hear it with your chest, The sender never once stopped writing. And so you understand how a whole people lived with their dreams. Let me give you the morning fire of my childhood, because I sat at it. In my grandmother's house, the first talk of the morning, before the day's plans, before the weather even, was the asking. She would look around the table at whoever had slept under her roof and say, "What did the night bring?" And it was not a pleasantry, hear me. It was a genuine question, asked the way you ask about important mail. And we answered it, all of us, the children too, especially the children. Most mornings the answers were small, nothing much, a foolish dream, laughter, and she would nod and pass the bread. But some mornings someone would say, "I had one of the heavy ones," and the table changed, the way a room changes when real news arrives. She would set down what she was holding. "Tell it," she would say, and the dream would be told carefully while it was still warm, and she would ask her questions, never interpreting, always asking, "What did you feel? What was it showing you? Does it sit on anything in your waking life?" And sometimes the teller would find the answer right there at the table. You could watch it land in their face. And sometimes she would say, "Carry it gently today. It will open when it is ready." And here is what I understood only decades later, my friend. That morning practice did more than read dreams. It kept the whole family's deep waters visible to each other. Nobody in that house could be silently drowning for months, the way people drown silently in modern houses, because every morning the night's letters were read at a common table, and a grandmother who knew the first language was watching the mail. The modern family knows what its members watched last night. My grandmother's table knew what its members dreamed. Measure those two houses against each other, and you will know most of what went wrong with this century and exactly where to begin repairing it tomorrow morning with one old question over coffee. What did the night bring? Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I'm not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere. So I sat down and I wrote it, all of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received. The ones about the night letters and the first language. The ones about what the deep self spends a lifetime trying to say. The ones I have never said on camera. It is called The Native Way, and it costs less than one dinner you will not remember. Scan the code on your screen or look in the comments, but do not leave yet, because now come the 4 letters, the 4 kinds of dreams that matter most. And the first one is the one you have been receiving unopened for years. The first letter is the recurring dream, and hear what repetition means in the first language. You have one, almost everyone your age has one. The dream that has returned for years, sometimes decades. The same house, the same road, the same situation. The exam you are not ready for. The place you cannot find, the person you keep meeting, and you have wondered, idly, why that one again? And never asked the question properly. So I will ask it for you, the way my grandmother asked it of the people who brought her their dreams. What does a person do when they send an important letter and receive no answer? They send it again. And again, my friend, and again, for as long as the matter stays unresolved and the sender stays faithful, and that is the whole teaching on the recurring dream in one line. It is the unanswered letter. Something in your deeps has been trying to deliver one specific message for years, and every repetition is the patient resending of it, and the dream will keep returning. Hear this, it will return for the rest of your life, until the message is received, not understood perfectly. The deep self does not demand scholarship, received, taken seriously, sat with, answered. And I have watched what happens when a person finally answers, because my grandmother walked people through it. A man came to her with a dream he had carried for 30 years, always the same, a river he needed to cross and could not. Every version different, every version the same, 30 years of standing on one bank. And she did not interpret it for him. Hear this, the old ones rarely interpreted. She asked him questions. What is on the other side? What do you feel standing there? What in your waking life has waited 30 years the way that crossing has waited? and I watched a grown man go silent in the middle of the third question because the letter had finally been opened, and it was about his brother and a wrong never made right, and a crossing he had been refusing in daylight for exactly as long as the river had been running through his nights. He made the crossing, the real one, the waking one, wrote the letter, made the visit, and the dream, my friend, the dream that had returned for 30 years, never came again. Hear that. Never again. The sender got its answer, and the matter closed. Whatever returns in your nights has an answer it is waiting for, and the second half of your life is the season for answering. The second letter is the visit, and I will speak of it carefully, in the way of my people, because many of you have received this one and you know it is different. The dream of someone who has passed, and hear me, not every dream of the dead is a visit. The grieving mind produces its own dreams, tangled, anxious, ordinary, and those are the heart doing its mending, and they are good. But some of you have had the other kind, and you know exactly which dream I mean because you have never forgotten a second of it. The visit dream is different in ways the old ones catalogued precisely. It is vivid beyond ordinary dreaming, more real than real, the light different, the detail exact. They look well in it. Hear this mark, not as they were at the end, well, whole, often younger, at some age of their fullness. Almost nothing happens. That is the other mark. No tangled plot, often few words or none, a presence, a look, an embrace, sometimes one sentence, I am all right, or it is not your fault, or simply your name said with love. And you wake from it not shaken but washed, changed, carrying a peace that lasts days. And you have said to someone, or wanted to, it did not feel like a dream. It felt like they came. My friend, the old ones would receive that report with a nod, because in the old understanding that is exactly what it was. The thin hours I have taught you, the door of sleep, the one place the day's wall is fully down, and the ones who love us are polite. They wait for the quiet, and there is no deeper quiet than yours at night. So hear what to do with the visit dream, because it asks so little. Do not argue yourself out of it in the morning. The modern world will offer you its explanations, and you may keep them if they comfort you. But do not let them take the gift. Receive it. Say thank you, out loud if you live alone. Tell someone, the way the old ones told the morning fire. And if there were words, keep them. Write them down that same morning, because those words the old ones said were the whole purpose of the crossing, and they were not easy to carry, and they were meant. The third letter is the warning, and this is the one that earns the title of tonight. Some dreams come ahead of things. The old ones knew it so plainly that the warning dream had its own protocols, and the modern world has noticed it too, quietly, in its hospitals and its studies, though it changes the vocabulary to stay comfortable. Hear the humble version first, because it is the common one. The deep self, at night, reviews everything. Hear this, everything, including the 10,000 small signals your busy day mind never processed. The tone in your son's voice on Tuesday, the tiredness behind your friend's smile, the small wrongness in your own body that the day was too loud to feel, the pattern in a person's behavior that has not yet become visible conduct. The deep self sees all of it, adds it up in the dark, and when the sum is trouble, it writes you a warning, dressed in the first language, the storm coming in the dream, the house with the crack in it, the loved one in danger on the far side of water, the uneasy dream about a person that you cannot shake for days. This is not magic, my friend, or perhaps it is. The old ones did not draw the line where the modern world draws it. It is the deepest attention you own, working the night shift, and its warnings deserve what the old ones gave them, not panic, never panic, attention. The dream that leaves you uneasy about your health. You honor it the way I always teach. You see the doctor, and you tell them plainly, something told me to get checked. And doctors, ask any honest one, have heard that sentence before and heard it be right. The dream that circles a person, a situation, a road. You slow down there, you look closer, you make the call you were putting off. Most warnings received come to nothing, and that is fine. That is the system working. the smoke that was only cooking. But some of you watching tonight, hear me. Some of you have the story already, the dream you ignored, the unease you overrode, and what came after, and you have carried it as a strange guilt ever since. Let that account close tonight. You were never taught to read the letters, the world untaught you deliberately, and you cannot be blamed for a language nobody let you learn. But from tonight, you know. The night shift is on duty. It has always been on duty. And when it marks an envelope urgent, my friend, open it. And the fourth letter, the one that comes more and more in the later seasons, is the return dream, and it is the deep self's greatest work. You have noticed, have you not, that as the years pass, the dreams go home. The childhood house, again and again, the rooms exact, the smell of it, the mother's voice from the kitchen, the ones long gone alive again at the table, the old street, the old school, yourself young, and the modern world calls this the aging brain wandering, and the old ones knew it was the opposite of wandering. It is gathering. In the last seasons, the deep self begins the great work, the harvesting of the whole life, walking back through every room, retrieving, weighing, settling. And it takes you along at night, because the work is yours, my friend. The return dreams are the life review beginning, gently in the first language, and they are trying to tell you the most important thing of all, that the season of gathering has come, that the unfinished rooms, the unforgiven ones, the unsaid words, the unmade crossings, all of it is being brought to you, night after night, room after room, while there is still time to finish in daylight what the nights keep showing you. That is what before it's too late means. Hear it now, the whole truth of the title. Not that the dreams will stop, they will not. The sender never stops. But that the dreams of the later seasons are letters with deadlines in them. The deep self gathering the life while the life can still be tended, showing you the brother while the brother can still be called. The childhood while its last witnesses can still be asked, the unfinished rooms while your hands can still finish them. The old one said the dreams grow louder near the end of a story because the soul has the most to say and the least time to say it. So do not fear the loudness, my friend, and do not dismiss the returning rooms. Answer the letters. Make the calls the dreams keep suggesting. Cross the rivers they keep showing you. Ask the questions, give the forgiveness, say the words, and watch what the old ones watched their whole lives, the nights growing quieter, room by room, letter by answered letter, not because the sender gave up, but because at last, after a whole life of unopened mail, somebody started writing back. So there are the four letters. The recurring dream, the unanswered letter, resent until received. The visit, the crossing made in the thin hours, asking only to be believed and thanked. The warning, the night shift's report, asking for attention, never panic. And the return, the great gathering, asking you to finish in daylight what the nights are showing you. From tomorrow morning, my friend, practice the old way. When you wake with a marked letter in your hands, do not reach for the phone. The letter dissolves in that light, I promise you. Lie still. Hold it. Ask it the old questions. What did I feel? What was it showing me? What is it asking? Write down what remains, 3 lines on the pad by the bed. The old ones told the morning fire, and you can tell the morning page. And then answer, in daylight, with your waking hands. Because the deepest part of you has been writing to you for 70 years, faithful past all neglect, and it knows things, it has always known things, and it is not done with you. And the greatest courtesy you can pay your own soul at this age after all these years is finally, at last, to open its mail. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there, The Native Way, 20 teachings, 100 pages, written the way I would speak to you if we were sitting together. Scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or find the link in the comments. Read 1 chapter, sit with it. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which letter have you been receiving? And if you are willing, tell me about the dream you have never forgotten. I read every comment. And if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.